For lighting, or it's good for you?
It's fine for me.
Can you see it fine?
Yes. Thank you.
Team Echo, the judges are ready to view your solution. You will have 20 minutes to present your solution to the judges. You'll be given a warning when 5 and 2 minutes remain. After 20 minutes, the presentation will be stopped immediately. No information will be considered after 20 minutes has left. Following your presentation, there will be 10 minutes of question and answer. You will be given a warning when 2 minutes remain. The question and answer will be stopped after 10 minutes. No information will be considered after that. You may begin whenever you are ready.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for coming out this morning to listen to our presentation. This is Jacqueline James, Lisa Winters, Brian Chu, and I'm Caitlin Waller. So to start off the presentation, we're going to begin with a quote from David Waller, and it's on the Edward Jones value proposition. So it reads, delivering tailored financial advice, guidance, and service through trusted personal relationships and a high level of personal service. This leads the way for all of the decisions that the company has made thus far. And looking into the future, there's a huge demographic shift in the financial advisees that the company currently serves. And right now we're at the forefront of an opportunity to continue to succeed in the same way that we have, but in integrating the new demographic trends.
Now, who are these clients of the future? They could be the 92 million millennials in the United States that make up 40%, or 1/4 of the United States total population, which is a number that can't go unnoticed. Or they could be any number of the rapidly growing rate of minorities in the United States, which makes up about 30% of the total United States population. Or they could be any number of the people who are going to receive the $30 trillion from the baby boomer generation. Now, we realize that some people may have some of these qualities only, and others may have all of them. So we wanted to present you today with an example couple that we thought would give you an idea to paint a picture of who our client in the future could potentially be. So we have Amanda Lopez and Brian Baker, and they are, Amanda is Hispanic and Brian is Caucasian. And Amanda and Brian met at the University of Northwestern University in college, and they currently live in Chicago, which has a high millennial population, where they are currently dealing with their college debt. So they have an income in their household per year of $100,000, as Amanda works in sales, and Ryan works as an elementary school teacher. Amanda is very tech savvy and likes Facebook a lot, and Ryan likes to spend his time outdoors running. They also are very socially conscious and have a lot of social issues that they're passionate about, and they also, and Ryan's mom invests with Edward Jones currently, so growing up he kind of had an idea for her experience and learned a little bit about investing from her. So the couple obviously now wants to find a trustworthy and low-cost financial advisor that they can have in order to plan for their future as a family, in order to plan for their retirement, and also pay off their college debt. So like many millennials, Ryan and Amanda were dealing with debt and have to understand the importance of saving for the future. They also are a diverse couple, and they also have a one parent who currently invests with Edward Jones. And we recognize that millennials will probably really value the fact that Edward Jones provides a trustworthy and a relationship-based interaction between the advisee and the advisor, and we think that they'll really value that. We also know that they're very tech savvy, and they have grown up in a generation where technology has been rapidly growing and changing. So we also know that millennials in the United States right now are at the largest amount that they have been in their generation. We know that they are currently very focused on working and spending, but they're also very focused on saving, which is something that we definitely focused on a lot because That's what we're trying to get them to do, and we realize that this will have a very big impact on the economy in the future. So we have, currently we have a few actions which are knowledgeable financial advisors now that that we work with, that work with our advisees, and they create that relationship-based environment like we also have up there. And they also have a diversity and mentorship program. And this is all goes through our the five key factors that Edward Jones presents, and that is to identify the target market, attract them, engage them, serve them, and also retain them for the future. And then challenges going forward, we have challenging demographics, so they're changing, changing demographics that we need to adapt to. We also have millennials having a new perspective, and we're also working towards integrating intergenerational wealth transfer.
So in determining our solution for these problems that Lisa just presented, we had a few steps that we had to make sure that we looked after in developing the solution. So the first that we looked at is alignment with the core values and capabilities. So something that we really noticed that within the case and in all the materials that we can gather about Edward Jones, we noticed that they stressed like neighborhood values and the sense of community, and really, as Lisa mentioned, being able to connect with your clients on a really core relationship kind of level. So we wanted to make sure that all of our decisions came back to that. We also wanted to make sure it met with the company objectives, all of the 5 goals that Lisa just mentioned. And there was also considerations of alternative solutions. We dabbled with looking at maybe different religious-based investments that might interest certain groups. We also dabbled with trying to outreach with millennials in different events. As you'll see, we had our selection of our optimal solution. So our actual solution that we decided to go with is a 3-pillared solution. And the first is marketing to millennials. As Lisa just noted, there are many different areas that millennials provide to the marketplace, but that are also kind of a bit of a challenge, especially for companies that are used to kind of a baby boomer consumer base. So like targeting millennials will be a little bit of a change of pace, but definitely a huge market potential in that sense. The next pillar that we're looking at is the diversity incentive, and it's something that we would like to implement internally within the company in terms of who we would be hiring. We know that Edward Jones is looking to build from their current 15,000 financial advisor base to a 20,000 financial advisor base. So in looking for that additional 33% increase in the employee base, we're hoping to be able to integrate certain features. And then finally, we're hoping to integrate a legacy program where we would be able to attract the next generation through their parents. So a little bit more about our solution. Looking at marketing to millennials, this generation is actually, despite what a lot of people think, is larger than the baby boomer generation. They have very different views on cultural, social, and financial issues, and they're more open to the use of technology and diversity and inclusion. And that leads to our next point about wanting to have a diversity incentive in terms of how we recruit our newest employees. There's minority populations that are rapidly increasing in the United States, and there's a lot of, as the case kind of defined, as untraditional housing situations where there's a rise of single, same-sex couples, and multi-generational families living together. And finally, that leads to our legacy program, which is kind of intra-family, and we noticed that there were $30 trillion in the next few years that will be passed down from the boomers to millennials, and this is a huge market potential for the company to take advantage of. And we did some number crunching, and we noticed that there would be about $16 billion of current assets under management that would be lost if this opportunity isn't sought after.
As Caitlin touched upon, we have a 3-pillared solution to address the needs of our company. And in these 3 parts, we need to dive into how we're going to actually implement them in tactical objectives. So in terms of targeting the millennial group, one of the key things that came to us in mind was the debt burden on millennials. So we want to offer debt seminars that our financial advisors would engage in the communities in order to attract millennials. 70% of millennials who go to undergraduate college have taken on debt to do so. Additionally, we want to increase our technology platform to have an online chat format with your financial advisor. In addition to going into their office, once you get to know them, you can live chat with them about some of your questions that you may be experiencing. And we'd also have a general hotline where you can message about more general questions to the corporate location. And another key pillar of our strategy for targeting millennials is sustainability and socially responsible investing. So in terms of the social responsible investing market, one out of $5 invested in professional management is actually geared towards a sustainable, socially responsible and impact investing funds. So we think this is a huge market opportunity, and it really appeals to millennials, as this generation is very conscious of different social objectives that they have and are very passionate about certain social causes. And in particular, companies that engage in social causes are 60% more likely to be viewed positively by millennials than companies who do not do so. In terms of implementing our diversity initiative, we want to attract high-quality financial advisors who will also help us reach this multicultural, internationalized new future client of the millennial generation, and just in line with the increased diversity in the U.S. demographics. In particular, the three prongs that we have for this are targeting multicultural people who have international experience, multicultural backgrounds, so that we can help engage with those types of potential clients. Additionally, we'd want to encourage hiring of multilingual financial advisors who would be able to speak in the language of Hispanic clients and Arabic clients, etc. We also want to increase our gender diversity of financial advisors, as in order to influence our client base, having more female advisors would help to reach the clients, as the majority of the 6 out of 10 households, the woman is usually the one who will have a large say over the financial decisions of the household. And additionally, with the rise of more affluent single women who are working, we think this is an attractive market and want to have that diversity in terms of multiculturally, multilingually, and gender diversity in order to attract the future American client. And additionally, this would go in line with Edward Jones's a goal of increasing the number of financial advisors from 15,000 to 20,000 over the next 5 or so years. So we really want to use these as the base for that increase in financial advisors. We also want to implement the legacy program. As Caitlin mentioned before, there's $30 trillion in U.S. financial assets that will be transferred over intergenerationally between now and 2050. We really want our company to get as much of the next generation as clients, baby boomers die off and maybe transfer their assets towards the younger generation. And we really want to attract the current clients who are making these intergenerational transfers to the younger generation. We really want to keep that. And so the initiatives we have are keeping the same advisor as your parents. So maybe you grew up with an advisor and you're familiar with them, and you want to keep that same advisor. Additionally, for new initial accounts, we would waive the fees in the beginning, so that the children of current account holders would be more inclined to open an account with Edward Jones. And lastly, we would really focus on providing comprehensive estate and inheritance planning to meet the intergenerational transfer objectives of our clients. As you can see here, this projects forward from now until 2050, the trillions of dollars that will be transferred between generations. And so the main one being baby boomers to millennials. How this impacts Edward Jones is that based on your current assets under management and the annual percentage being transferred of assets, we project that $16.2 billion per year is being transferred to the next generation, and we want to maximize the percentage of that we are retaining. We do not want these children to go to a different financial advisor. It's really critical that we are targeting them and maximizing the assets under management we have with them going forward.
So we have our three-pillared solution, a lot of details, but we wanted to see how financially feasible it would be. So this is the historical financial snapshot and summary of Jones Financial LLP over the last 3 years. Just basic income statement, nothing to build out too much. some drivers at the bottom. So, we built out a little bit of a model, just a very basic financial model based on historical growth, some of our plans that we had, included, which will raise our costs, obviously, since we're hiring more advisors. One of the big things we were focusing on is how does assets under management growth, does it increase and decrease? How does it relate to operating expenses as it compared to revenues? And we found that our most important metric, our AUM, since we're right now just trying to get more volume, is growing at a 6% CAGR over the next 5 years, which is our projection period for when we're growing our financial advisor base from 15,000 to 20,000. A lot of our core drivers from this case were the fee revenue growth that we would achieve from getting more assets under management. As that grows, so do your fees grow too. But then your SG&A increases linearly as well, because now we're hiring more financial advisors, we're opening more offices, we have to, just the costs associated with. Also, this is a proven strategy. More recently, Edward Jones has not really been growing in its financial advisor base, but it has historically in the past, and our projections are fairly solid because it's how it has grown historically, and we are not doing anything too out there. Okay, so this is our projected financial summary. So we have the actual 2016 year completed as of December 31st, 2016, and we projected forward, just based on the core drivers that we had mentioned before, mostly building up the growth of our advisors. So we ramped up because we had 5,000 new advisors in about 5 years. So we started thinking, take it slow at first, maybe hire 500 at first, and see how that goes. But there's a period of time where you have essentially a capital expenditure, and it's not realized immediately. So in terms of the financial advisors. So the next year we will put a little bit more than 750, and by that time, if we're sort of assuming that this process will be successful and our 3-pillar plan will work out, we'll ramp up to 1,250 and then 1,000 and then 1,500, but that's subject to change depending on how things go. If you notice, some assets under management is increasing a CAGR of 6.1%. Very interestingly, essentially the net income to partners, to general partners and managing partners, and it's also growing a CAGR of 9.9%, which is larger than before, mostly because of the revenue shift. So some of our key risks, the major one is reaching our AUM target. We're hiring financial advisors because we want to grow our AUM, because that's essentially the only reason. Yes, we would like to get more neighborhoods and help more people, but at the end of the day, this is what we're here to do. But it's not such that the more advisors we hire, is linearly we will grow, in our customer base. We have some strategies currently, hiring more diverse people, people from not racially, but culturally and number of languages they can speak. But it's very subject to see how it will actually turn out and how people will receive that. So, another thing is our competition. Charles Schwab has the opposite business structure. They're tech focused. They're distant. You don't meet your advisor really. You're focused on what you can do. What you can do from the comfort of your home in easy-based technology, access-based trading. It's a low-cost, tech-savvy competitor that's recently been gaining more popularity, that overtaken us in one of the polls, but we're confident in the future. Just to wrap up, with we have a little less time, we have our 3 pillars. As our solution, the financial and demographic snapshot of America is changing. Financially, all the wealth is going from the baby boomer generation, and $30 trillion is being transferred in the next 30 to 40 years to the millennial population. Now they have financial power. They also have volume-based power. There's millennials will soon overtake the population of the baby boomer generation, and they control the money. This is a fact. This is happening right now. It's already happened. The millennial generation ends at 1996. So, we have to be very clear about what we're doing. We have to market to our millennials. We have to be very clear about what we're doing. Edward Jones is historically more of a conservative company, but we have to perhaps be more active in the liberal scene, which is what more millennials are focused on. Maybe socially in San Francisco or New York, and to some extent Chicago. Our diversity initiative, it cannot just be racially diverse. That's not enough. We have to hire people who truly understand the culture of the neighborhood that they're understanding in. You can actually connect with the people. If you can't speak the language, we have the same rights. That's not enough. Our legacy program is designed to retain as much of that $30 trillion as possible. To us, each year, from our 963 current assets under management, we'll lose $60 billion a year if we don't retain these customers. We have to start making our relationships, making sure they can go to Schwab, and one of our ideas was we open up free brokerage accounts for the children or college accounts, checking accounts for free, and then you come in, sign some paperwork, meet your advisor, happens over, meet twice every 3 years or so, and that's how you retain a customer, and you don't want to leave, you don't want to go over to Schwab. So, things are changing, they're changing fast, and we have to adjust to it right now. Things are changing today, not really tomorrow, it's already happened. So our three-pillar solution is our solution to that, and we have to start implementing it right now, ASAP. Thank you. That's end of our presentation, but we're here for Q&A. Any questions if anyone has any?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. This was very, very, very good. A lot of good information out there. My name is Hirsch Patel. I'm a local financial advisor in the area, and so it's very interesting for me to hear what you guys have to say, especially since some of the information that you guys have covered, interestingly enough, is already being implemented at a firm. So very good to see that you guys have a similar perspective. A few comments, and then I do have a question for you. Real quickly, I forget who had mentioned this, but something about social media and being able, having the capabilities of being able to text with your clients. As far as I know, I believe Jones is the only financial firm that has that capability, and it was recently launched. So it may not be published yet, but it was really cool that you guys were on the same path as what we have recently implemented. And then second, as far as some of the stats that you guys were throwing out there, as shocking as they are, they're relatively true. And so and I do appreciate that information. One question that I do have, so one of the solutions in the legacy program, I believe, would probably carry a lot more weight than the other two in my mind. And so I wanted to focus on that one specifically. One of the key solutions was to lower or eliminate the fees for X amount of time. And so as you can imagine, time goes along and you're taking on more clients. If you're not charging them the fee, it's going to have an impact on your bottom line. And I've noticed the overall profit margin goes down over time. So can you guys elaborate on that? How, first off, how are we going to make this feasible so that way the profit margin potentially does not go down nearly at the rate that it was? And second, is there another option such as maybe instead of charging a percent, charge 80 bips or something along those lines? So I would like to kind of turn that on to you guys and kind of see what you're...
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take this as a historical snapshot. Absolutely. I miscommunicated one part of the legacy program. It was not eliminating all fees, which would essentially destroy your business model.
Sure.
But so let's say, the parents or father or mother, whoever has an account with you already. Let's say their son turns 15 or 16 and wants to open up a high school checking account or some sort of money market fund or something very basic. What I had more so meant to say was let them open the account for free. The annual management fee wouldn't be too high for them anyways because of the low assets under management. But just the act of letting them open the account, maybe get a few free trades or just anything to get you in touch with them physically. Have them sign the papers, they come in, talk to you a little bit. Have them twice a year or whatever it is, and then come time for college, you have a college checking account or a college savings account, stuff like that. Definitely don't want to eliminate all fees, and the idea is that hopefully in time when they inherit whatever their percentage and allocation of the 30 trillion is, then they're still with you because they know who you are and have less of an incentive to leave. About the bottom line, absolutely the profit margin has decreased. Our way of viewing it is that this is a long-term investment. We're planting the seeds right now. This millennial generation, that 30 trillion, that's happening over 30 to 40 years. So what happens in the next 5 years, obviously matters. We're a for-profit company, but I upped the operating expenses a little bit, pretty significantly by 3 to 4% to 91 to 90% to 92% at some point because we've just been conservative to see what would happen because we have to hire 33% more financial advisors in a 5-year time period. When over the past 3 years we've only hired maybe 303%, which is just very normal. So that would be the reason for the bottom line, which I agree is definitely not something that it's good to have lower profit margins, but at the same time, we're kind of in for the long haul. I wouldn't project it further, but the further you project, the less accurate it gets. But this was just our take on what a conservative look at it would be, and if it was feasible enough, or as opposed to if it was the objective, best thing that happened to the firm.
Sure. No. And you know what? I appreciate it. it's interesting because I was trying to put two and two together, and I think you're right. So actually, I will correct one fact there. It's net growth of 300. So it's not that they've only hired 300 people, but in our industry, it's a very high retention, and there's constantly a turnover, we call it, right?
Yeah,
So,
attrition, right?
So it's attrition, exactly. So the point is, we've net grown by 300, or whatever that number is. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I see.
My point is, it's not just they've hired 300.
Less than 9%, up 10%. I see your point, yeah.
So just
Okay.
a quick
No, that's
it changes a lot.
I didn't account for that. Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, 1,500, you hire 1,500, I believe this is the stat of Jones,
Yeah.
and it may be a little off at this point, but when I was training, 70% of people don't make it, or something like that.
Oh, really? Okay, sure.
70 or 60%.
Okay.
So the thing is, even though you hire 1,500 people, well, that's not.
Okay, so maybe like you hire like 8,000 and 5,000, or you try to get to 20,000, not hire 5,000. You're trying to reach 20,000. However, that maybe you hire 20,000 people, and whatever. Yeah, okay. I see that's very well.
Kind of to talk about waiving fees, it kind of sounded binary. Waive them all or keep them all, stuff like that. And in this day of discounts, like I was on retailing not last night, because I'm going to try to find a coupon for free shipping. So I'm sitting there thinking, if you're dealing with parents and their children, and each local owner-operator has to report sales or revenue and stuff like that, I'm thinking, because you're a child of a long-term parent, maybe it's 25% discount or something. I mean, everybody's going to get a discount. And then to me, it's the balance of what the rates are being charged by your nearest competitors, figuring out what's the balance so you can compete with them, get some revenue coming in, and don't give it all away, even if it's for 1 year grace or something like that. So just a balancing thing to be looking at. I was glad that in your last segment there, talking about it's not a matter of just hiring. So what about the existing, was it 15,000 Edward Jones financial advisors? They're operating in diverse areas. Are you envisioning training programs for the existing FAs as well?
Absolutely, yes. So the new 5,000 recruits are primarily focused through our diversity initiative. Those are more ancillary for our existing financial advisors. So these 5,000 new advisors are going through very new, and I don't want to say revolutionary, but very different training programs than maybe perhaps you have, because this program has not been launched yet. So they have to learn, how to deal with, how to better interact with people in their neighborhood. They're placed in more specific neighborhoods where they're more aligned. Maybe they speak a more niche language. Maybe they've lived abroad in another country where a lot of immigrants from there come to this neighborhood. And of course, I think it would be great. We were thinking about offering the same thing for the existing 50,000 professionals to join these, because they still have people in the existing neighborhoods that they operate in that they're not covering right now. They don't have 100% of the market, which it would be great for them to have, but they don't. And these might be some of the barriers, and they might recognize that perhaps the demographic that they're operating within, maybe don't have as much of a penetration as they want because of certain issues like this, because they just don't understand what people look for in their financial advisor. Maybe they want a text, maybe they're millennials, maybe they're immigrants and they're not like that, and they want other things. So I think our idea was to launch this to everybody, but not it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have one. First of all, I give you credit for putting numbers up there. You have to put numbers up there. It's always easy to shoot at numbers. And one thing I would ask
quantitative,
is that when you put graphs up, put numbers up, that you put the source of where that information came from, because you had nothing up there, you just had a graph, and there was no where to discover how to generate this information. So you should always give you some source information.
Oh, where are assumptions? Yeah, it's all in our core drivers.
I got a question for you on the feature on the social sustainable inventory or investing that you talked about, that they're very aware of that and they want to do that. If you have that conversation with the millennial and you say, okay, you can have socially sustainable and we're all going to hold hands and swim in the warm water, but it's going to cost you money, and if you invest over here, you can make more money. is there any justification to believe they're not going to want the money versus the warm, fuzzy feeling?
Yes, we definitely take that into account, and a lot of our research actually showed that a lot of these ESG-focused ETFs and investment mutual funds, a lot of them offer very competitive returns in line with that of other traditional funds. And additionally, there's a strong correlation between ESG performance and financial performance. So we think that for millennials, yes, they are willing to pay a little bit more in order to make sure that they are having that social impact. And not everyone would be like that, and some people are more focused on a low-cost option, the lowest cost option that will give them those returns. However, a large portion of the millennial psyche is focused on trying to engage in these social issues.
Jumping off of that.
Your time is up.
Oh,
I guess not.
You guys, this is great.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, your time.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Well done.